Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Guys, today we are going to talk about Dragonair Silent God's hero systems. Along the adventure on the continent of Adentia, you will need companions that fight alongside you. In Dragonair Silent Gods, other than your player character, there are also hundreds of heroes for you to recruit and develop. Here are some of them. Of course, it's not all of them, but these are ones which I possess at this moment. You can deploy up to 5 companions in each battle. This video will walk you through a few topics including the heroes categories, roles, basic attributes, and the most important part is where you can get them. First, heroes can be categorized by their element types, including fire, ice, necrosis, poison, lightning, and of course, my favorite, radiance. Guys, whichever you like the most, the characteristics and the genre, just go on that one and pick what you want and just build the team. Hero skills of different element types can deal the associated elemental damage. It can be fire, then fire deals fire damage, right? Necrosis deals necrosis damage, and so on. Also, most heroes have an exclusive role mechanic based on their element. Every 2 heroes will often have synergy effects as well. More details on that one are in the hero role section videos, which will come later. Well, then, some of my fans have asked some questions about elemental affinity. Let's talk about this, one of the most fascinating settings in Season 2. Let me just find you guys quickly what we are talking about. So, the elemental affinity. While in combat, based on the deployment heroes of your adventurer's team, an elemental affinity effect can be triggered. If that's the case, your team will get to enjoy additional attributable bonuses, like this one, or maybe some of these, which are really good. Damn, what? You asked me how to trigger elemental affinity effects? Damn it! You really come to the right guy. The 6 elements are split into 3 groups. If among the 5 deployed heroes, there are at least 3 heroes with the element of the same group, the associated elemental affinity effect will become active. Like getting extra attack, receiving extra defense, or when you have 5 heroes which is associated in the same group, you can get the really powerful benefits like 10% additional damage, like additional effect for each different group in each season, have different associated 5-of-a-kind elemental bonus. Then you can kick your enemy's ass with a series of silky combo. Of course, the more champions you have from the same kind, the better is the kick ass. We have mentioned that hundreds of heroes are separated into 8 roles. Among them, 6 roles are exclusive to each element type, respectively. As for the defensive and support, they are general roles that are present for each elemental type. Let me show you guys what exactly I'm talking about here. So, here are the supports, which have quite many from. We have defensive units, which also have a lot from. And of course, here are the specific, let's say, clan types, which are associated with a very exclusive effect. When we're talking about fire, there is wild. The fire element has an exclusive mechanic. Some fire heroes have this mechanic. Effects: upon using a skill, there's a 30% chance to trigger an effect that increases the skill damage, this time to 120%. This is where you can read those things. The skill of these heroes have this effect, while the skills of some heroes can even enhance the wild effect for the entire team or trigger derivative effects. For example, the passive skills of Flora. Let me show you guys Flora. This is the fanciest fire hero among Adentia. So Flora has this special ability where any of an ally going to use a wild effect, a familiar will join the attack and deal additional fire damage. Then let's talk about Necrosis. Necrosis has the special ability of doing summons. Of course, not all of the Necrosis units going to do summon, but many of them associate with summon, and you can enhance the summon capabilities. Let's see what am I talking about. So here you can see some of those summon units. And then, of course, there are other summon related units which can help to enhance the summon units' capabilities. For example, we can talk about Lalvanis, which with her ultimate, for example, when she uses her ultimate, she can sacrifice summoned units, and of course the damage of the skill going to increase accordingly to how many sacrifice units being used up. And of course her passive is also get stronger and stronger while more and more summoned units died. Then let's talk about Radiance Raleigh, which is, by the way, my personal favorite, not coincidentally, because it's just really really close to my heart whatsoever. So in Raleigh, the Radiance element have an exclusive mechanic where some Radiance heroes will have the Raleigh effect, and there are some other heroes which going to enhance the capabilities of Raleigh. For example, the ultimate skill of Always, the Hypocrite. When applying buffs on allies, you can apply the same buffs on one more ally affected by Raleigh at the cost of that Raleigh status. Pretty interesting. There are also some other heroes which just going to give some of your units Raleigh, and of course there are some other units which is benefiting enormously by receiving Raleigh. So let's talk a little bit about Lightning Dauntless, which is probably one of the easiest teams to build, and of course they are extremely powerful. Here we go. So Dauntless heroes, the lightning element has an exclusive mechanic. Some lightning heroes have this mechanic. Effects: these heroes are good at using their basic attacks to eliminate enemies. Their fast combos of basic attacks can deal massive amount of damage and synergies. The skills of some of these heroes can apply specific statuses on allies, enemies for the basic attacks of Dauntless heroes, while some other skills can even increase the attack speed of these Dauntless heroes. For example, the ultimate skill of Venny, the Wanderer, increases the attack speed of Dauntless allies. Here she is. There we go. And of course, there are many other champions which is interacting with Dauntless. For example, Ivalios, one of those crown jewels, which is with his passive, he can join the hits of every other units. And of course, there is a bonus when that team member is a Dauntless hero. Just an example, but pretty cool one. The next one, which is worth a mention, is Poison. The Poison element has an exclusive mechanism, and some of the Poison heroes come with the poisonous effect. and some other units are interacting with poison. For example, Lothar not only putting on the enemy units poison, but he also have this really special ability when he can trigger a toxic blast, a poison blast, after each poison debuff the enemy has. Of course, there are some other units which is interacting in a very special way with poison, where, for example, Tolver will give an additional attributes or negative effects on the enemy if they got poison debuffs. So the next one which we're going to talk about is the defensive heroes, just the general role whatsoever. There it is, yes, defense. This is a general role that applies to heroes of various element types. Heroes of this role are good at tanking, damage, and protecting other heroes from on the same team. For example, Quasitia is my new favorite. She's extremely good in being in the front line, calling together everybody at one spot, and of course, really destroying them with her ultimate. Just an example. But of course, there are some really big favorites of mine. For example, Garius, which is probably one of the strongest heroes to be in the front line, and he's almost unkillable thanks to this hit on recovery skill. And probably one of the best protector as well to keep your team alive, because he gives enormous amount of healing. Guys, there is also this general role which called support. Let's talk a little bit about that one. This is really funny because support is one of my favorite roles, really. And in this game, the capabilities of support are really expanded. It's not just really giving some buffs and debuffs, but here support heroes can be tanks, can be CC, can be massive healers, obviously, like Gillian, or my new personal favorite, Cecilia. But of course, in the same times, you can find heroes also which is dealing enormous amount of damage, like Ripekas, like one of my favorite, and I still don't have her, Vinyara, dealing enormous amount of damage with her ultimate, and of course having a very low cooldown, which is gonna make possible to recharge and recycle the skills even more fast. So guys, this is really a very baseline assessment of all things concerned in the game, a very basic introduction. I hope you guys enjoyed and hope to see you guys soon for the next introductory video.